Okay. So what are the types of buyer intent? So there are three core type of buyer intent. Okay, number one is visitor intent. Visitor intent means people who are visiting your website or your app, but they are not giving their email address. For example, somebody came down to your website but did not fill up the contact us form, right? So we can now, with reverse IP tracking and other technology, we can track the visitor to the company level, to the individual level. We can even track the LinkedIn profile and email address. We have now we have those kind of technology now available. So we can do that. So if somebody visits your website, we can track them all the way till their LinkedIn profile or company profile. Or they visit your app, we can do that same, right? So we have the visitor intent level data. That's very important intent. If somebody is coming and visiting your site or visiting your app, that means they have an intent. And where they visit and what they do, basically the behavioral level data is something that actually gives you more context. So if somebody is coming to your website and just checking out your blog, then they may not be looking to buy anything. But if somebody is coming to your website and checking out your pricing page, then they might be looking to buy something. So the behavior matters a lot when it comes to buyer's intent, right? What is the behavior of it? And then based on that behavioral data, you can segment that. You can create segment and categorize on the people who are actually the people or the company who are actually willing to buy and from the ones who are not, right? So we have the visitor intent. The next step is the research intent. Okay. And the third one is the target intent. Okay. So let me just open up my HubSpot and I will talk about these three core different type of intent, and I'm going to explain it using HubSpot. All this type of intent can be provided by other data providers as well. Other data providers, I mean to say, Six Sense and Cognizance and Apollo and others. They can also provide this kind of intent data. The reason why I'm using HubSpot is because that's what I use, and HubSpot has recently acquired Clearbit, which was one of the world's largest profile level and intent level data provider. And that is why I believe HubSpot is getting their information. So I'll give you an example of these three different type of intent in HubSpot. So if you go to HubSpot, this is how it's going to look like. So just go to your marketing hub. If you have the marketing hub, then click on buyer's intent. And this is how the dashboard is going to look like. Okay, so I've already put up the HubSpot tracking code on my website. So now, as you can see, the first is the visitor intent. We talked about the visitor intent. So now I can see who is actually visiting my site and what they are doing. Right. So in last 14 days, I can see there's a bunch of companies who have visited my website. And I also have the behavioral level data. For example, this particular company had 170 page views, and there were 3 unique visitors. There were 3 people actually who visited. And I can drill down, I can go and find out what they were exactly doing, what pages they were viewing. And even I can, find the, LinkedIn profile of the company, and and I can view their activities as well. So this is where I can see all their activity, what they were checking on. Right. So as you can see, they were checking out my webinar, and so we had 93 visits on this one particular webinar. So nonetheless, so they are checking. So I can just see what they are exactly doing, and if you can feed this data to an analytics team, and they can run an AI on that, I can do a lot with that, right? So this is the visitor intent, and this can be all you have to do is just put the tracking code on your website, on your app, or any other asset that you may have, and you will be able to track those, and then based on that, you'll be able to see who those visitors are and what they are doing. Okay, and based on who those visitors are, what they are doing, you can reach out to them, and you can saying that you can say, hey, you were checking out my pricing page. Looks like you're interested. Why don't you, I'll give you a discount. Why don't you go ahead and take a deal? Right? I'm just oversimplifying it, but I hope that you're getting the point I'm trying to make here. Okay. The next step is the research intent and the target market intent. Right. So if you go to the research intent, so you can add research topics. right? So you can add any research topic. For example, my research topic is ABM or HRMS software. So for example, if I put up HRMS, HR management software, if I add that, right? HRMS, right? So I can add this research topic, okay, at the keyword level, or I can even put the company URL level. That means I put up a bunch of company names. If my own company name I can put up, and if somebody is looking for my company name, then it will pop up here, right? But that you should only do if you have a big brand or something like that, right? But keyword based is applicable to everybody. For example, I am selling a HR management software. So what I should do is I will go ahead and put up a management, HRIS and whatever, all these HR solution, all these keywords I will add, right? And HubSpot will automatically start populating, and I can put more conditions as well. HubSpot will start automatically populating the companies who are showing interest in buying that. Where they are getting the data? From these third-party data provider like Clearbit and Sixsense. They are getting the data from there. Okay. But the moment I put HRMS, I immediately see that there are 532 companies possibly looking for HR management software. Now, the next obvious question that may arise is this a valid data? Not really, not necessarily. It's not like that, all of, whatever data is provided here is absolutely 100% bang on. No, but this is a good starting point, right? You can fill this company details into your pipeline and you can start prospecting and create an ABM strategy on top of it. All right. So you can add these topics, as many topics as you want. I think there's a limit in the number of topics that you can add, but you can add these topics, and then these systems will automatically start providing you prospect, the company level data, to you, and you can work on top of that. Right. So, and then there is something called as the target accounts. Okay, so if you go to Sales Hub, so the third one is the target market intent. So one is the website visitor, which is the closest. That means if somebody visits your website or app, you figure that out and find the buyer intent. The second is research level intent. That means, you put up a topic and then you try to find out companies who are searching for those topics, like HRMS software. Okay, that's the second level of intent. And then the third level of intent is you put the entire market, right? You say, you know what, I'm interested in healthcare industry, home care industry, stuff like this. So you put the entire target market and you put the intent there, and then you basically put the context, and then you start gathering data around that, right? So if you go to Sales Hub, you can put that as well. You go to target accounts. So all these target accounts have started coming up, right? In a sense that you just put a bunch of target accounts and you can create a lookalike audiences and like so on. So you can just create a list of it, and then you can create your own the ideal customer profile tire and do your own AVM. So there's a bunch of here. I don't want to get into the technicalities here, but I hope that you got the point here, in terms of how the buyer intent works. What are the major category of buyer intent, right? And what you can do. We have just recently, they have added something called as signals. HubSpot has just recently launched the signal under the Breeze Intelligence. They are still working on that. I'm going to talk more about that in the coming days, right? So if you add that complete target market here, just add a target market, you can add complete markets here, and HubSpot will start populating the most relevant companies in those markets, which can become your customer. I mean, it sounds like a magic, but yeah, it works like that. Okay, so you can manage your markets as well. So the context that you're giving to HubSpot is that, hey, you know what? This is the market I want to target. Please find me good companies within the market which suits my need, right? So it will start slowly providing those data as well.